It's March. I need to go get a shamrock shake. Is this too much? Hello and welcome back, or welcome for the first time if you're new. My name is Noma and this is Noma, my video channel all about vintage fashion and sewing and thrifting and personal mayhem. And mostly I'm finding that it's about procrastination because what I seem to be doing on this channel is working my way through sewing projects that I've had sitting around waiting to be done for years and years. And this dress is no such exception. I have had this dress sitting in a bin in my closet for quite a long time, I think since the 90s. I know that there was a point in the 90s when I had collected a whole bunch of 80s dresses that I was hoping to chop into blouses, and I was either going to sell them or just wear them myself as blouses. And of course, I never got around to that. Well, I take it back. I did do one or two of them, but I still have a bunch sitting around, and someday I might take you into that world of all those 80s dresses. But for today, I was looking through them and I pulled this one out and I said, wow, that is a beautiful shade of Shamrock-Shake-green. So I thought it was perfect for a March upcycle. So I will give you a good view of this dress. I'm also going to show you some details of it a little closer up. So here you can see there are these wonderful beaded panels across the shoulder. And I think that it's possible that I originally thrifted this dress, both as a potential for cutting it into a blouse, but also because I thought I might strip it for parts and really just keep these pieces and use them for something else. It's also got this beautiful beaded belt that matches. It's got two covered buttons. So it's a fun vintage dress, but it's not something I would really wear as is. I don't know if it was a mother of the bride dress at the time or just, an elegant evening out dress, but it's too much for me. To answer my own question, it is too much. And it's also just not really current, not really something that I would wear. So I want to, in some way, upcycle this dress. We're going to revamp it. I'm not going to do one of those things where I just cut it up and use the fabric and sew a completely different dress. I do want to use the base of this dress, and there are some things that I may keep. I may keep the long sleeves. I'm not sure. It is 100% polyester, so I'm already getting a little warm in it. So the sleeves may have to get a little shorter. But I do want to keep these great beaded details. I do want to keep this beaded belt, and I will keep the skirt in some way. I will probably shorten it. I may make it fuller. I may make it tiered. But I think that these front drapey bits will go, and I will reuse this fabric in some way. I may make some ruffles for the sleeves, maybe for the front. So I think the first step is going to be removing these panels and possibly just pinning up the skirt to see where we go. So let's try that. Let's go from there. Okay, we're making some progress. I still have my 80s hair going on as I work, but we're going to work with it. So I have gotten the front drapey bits off, and I actually kind of like the bodice, how it is. It's a nice fit, and I really like these sheer sleeves. I like the long sleeves. So I might pretty much leave this as is. The one thing I am thinking is I want to reinsert the sequin bands, the beaded bands. So let me show you. So I have them here. So I have a couple things I'm thinking. I might just keep them, remove the band entirely from the drape and just put it back on the shoulder, sort of like epaulettes. One thing I'm also thinking is maybe leaving just a little bit of a ruffle, on the front. See how it's gathered. So if I leave just maybe like an inch of ruffle and then put that on the sleeve, that could be fun too. So let's see. Might look a little bit like that. But let's talk about the skirt. So I've pinned this shorter, and I kind of like this length. It might be a little bit short, but my original thought was that I did want to make it shorter, and in cutting it off, I would end up with a band of excess fabric, and that I could use that perhaps to make a little ruffle on the bottom or a little tier on the bottom. But actually, the way I had to pin it up, because it has this lining, gave it this sort of bubble effect, and it made me think I should just make this a bubble skirt. I should go with it. And because bubble skirts are, 80s inspired, I think I might go with that. I think that this skirt would really benefit from being a bubble. So I think that'll be fun. If it's got long sleeves and a bubble skirt, and then we'll do something with the shoulder epaulettes. I think these could be some fun updates to this dress without completely remaking it, and just do sort of an 80s revisit. So that's what we're going to do next. I am going to have to go, but I'm going to probably try and do some better pinning on this skirt, and then maybe I'll try and pin up whatever I'm going to do on the shoulders, maybe do a few options. Okay, I'm back to you with my Shamrock Shake dress. We're gonna do a little more work on this. I'm gonna show you a couple details of it close up now that I have you here at the table. I always love to look at the tags of vintage clothes. I don't know why, I just get a kick out of it. So I'll show you guys this one. It is a brand called Jack Bryan. I have not yet looked that up, but that's the brand. It is a vintage size 12, so it's probably current size 10 or so. And it says it's 100% polyester now, which I'm sure it is. But the reason I'm saying it like that is because the care label also says dry clean only, do not steam, cool iron only. I actually already steamed this. I have not cleaned it, which is something I want to do next, but I don't want to dry clean this. So what I think I might do is I have a packet of that Dry-L stuff. I haven't used it in a long time. I've had it sitting around for probably 10 years. But I think I'm going to try and do this with that and see what happens. It looks pretty clean, but you know, I mean, it's been sitting in a thrift store and then it's been sitting in a box in my house. So it definitely should get a clean. But before I do that, I do want to just close up. There are little bits that I had to open the seam to get out, the drapey bits in the front. So I had to do that, just a short bit at the shoulders and then a little bit at the waist. I'm going to get to sewing. Okay, great. I've gotten those little bits that I had opened up closed back up so that I feel a little more comfortable washing it now. So I just want to do that before I do any major alterations to this, just in case it shrinks or changes or anything like that. Or it could get destroyed and then we just come up with a different video concept. So while that's in the dryer, I'm gonna go get my shake because I'm hungry. All right, so I'll be back to you guys in a little bit. See ya. The humble Shamrock Shake. Scarcity marketing at its finest. I think that the Shamrock Shake walked so that the PSL could run. You know, this isn't an ad for Shamrock Shakes or anything. I just kind of have a warm spot in my heart for them. I think because my birthday is in March, it's always been something I associate with March. And I like minty things, so naturally I like them. I'm sure many of you have thoughts on McDonald's, and those thoughts are definitely valid. But as a nice treat, I do like the Shamrock Shake. And it's such a pretty color, as is this dress. And I'm seeing on camera, they don't exactly match, but close enough. This dress looks like a Shamrock Shake, so we're gonna go with it. Okay, so I did do the, you know, sort of at-home dry cleaning to this dress, and it came out okay. It smells a little bit better. You know, it still smells like a vintage garment, but not that bad. So I think I'm gonna start with trying to do the bubble skirt that we talked about. It's gonna be a little tricky. Let me move my shake so that it doesn't get dirty, the dress. I am gonna drink it though. So I think that what I'm gonna end up having to do is, you know, usually if you would do a bubble skirt, you would sew it first and then into the bubble shape and then put it on the waistband. Because this is already on the waistband, I'm gonna have to kind of do something where I turn the whole thing inside out, almost like a scrunchie or something. Turn the whole thing inside out, just leave one side open and then turn it back in and just sew up that one side. So I think I'm going to, as usual, do a bunch of pinning while I drink my shake. And then I might be back to you guys at the sewing machine once I have it all pinned and ready and we can do a little bit of sewing. Okay, I'm back at the machine and I have done some measuring and some cutting and some very aggressive pinning. And I can't even describe to you at the moment what I've done as far as turning this inside out and twisting it and trying to get it pinned. I am not even sure I've done it right. So what I'm gonna do right now is baste it to make sure I'm kind of on the right track. I had to take in some gathers in the front because the front of the skirt is gathered, but the back isn't, and the lining isn't gathered at all. So I've had to gather the front of the skirt to match the size of the lining, which will give it a bubble effect. We want that anyway. Okay, so I got that basted. Now what I think I'm gonna do is try and turn it back out to see if it at least made a bubble shape. So let's see what happened. Yes, okay, it bubbled the way it's supposed to bubble. So if you see in the inside, the lining is attached to the skirt fabric and it's making sort of a bubble shape. It's gathered in the front, a little bit bubbly in the front, and then it's just a plain fold over that attaches to the lining in the back. So the last seam that I have is going to have to be done after I serge this. So I'm going to serge this seam that I just did, and then I will come back and see if I can close up that last seam. Some of it I can do with the machine, but then some of it I'm going to have to turn back inside and then just do by hand. So serging first, then closing it up. Okay, so that seam is serged, so I'll show you again how it's looking. So it's got a little bubble hem, and then on the inside it's attached to the lining. So now what I'm going to have to do is sew up this seam, then I'm going to serge both of these two seams, and then I'm just going to hand sew the bottom. All right, cool. Okay, so now most of it is organized and hidden in there. Now the only thing I have to do is fold this last little bit over, under, and I'm going to hand sew this little bit down. And then this skirt will be done. I will be back to you tomorrow to look at this and to figure out what we're going to do with the top. I know I was thinking about doing something with those shoulder pieces that I took off. Good morning, I'm back and I am done with the skirt. I think it looks really good. I really like this length. I really like what I did with the bubble. It wasn't my original plan. I was thinking of doing something more like tiers or ruffles, but I like how the bubble skirt retains the spirit of the 80s in this dress. Even though it's not the long dress it was, I still have a slightly different 80s style on this dress, which I really like because, you know, let's take it back to its roots or keep it in its roots. So now I just want to figure out what to do with the top of the dress. Now, the fit of the top of the dress actually is really good for me. It's rare that I find a dress that actually fits me, you know, torso-wise, although this one does blouse over a little bit because I'm short torsoed, but it fits me on the shoulders, which is great. That's a rarity for me. So I'm not going to do anything to the structure of it. I'm at this point just going to embellish it in some way, take those pieces that I took off and in some way add them back in. So there were a couple things I was playing with. And the first one I told you about, I was thinking of putting the beaded bands back on, but instead of having the whole ruffle piece go all the way down, just have it be a little bit of a ruffle. So that is one thing I'm thinking of. Another thing is, when I was playing with it last night, I was playing with putting that piece across the front, and it did actually make sort of a fun kind of sheared panel. So I am going to pin both of these options I have in my head. I'm going to pin them on, and then I'm going to video them and let you guys see them, and then we'll decide from there. I think that what I'm going to do this time, which I don't always do, is definitely pin them and look at both of them. But also I'm going to look at the footage because I'm finding as I'm editing these videos, sometimes I will see something on the video and I'll like the way it looked and I didn't like the way it looked in person. So I think that using a combination of those things is going to help me decide which I want to do. Okay, so here is this version where I have taken the drapey bits and just made a little ruffle out of them and pinned them back to the shoulders. And I do like this. I think it's fun. I especially like keeping the idea of making these ruffles bubbles that mimics the bubble on the hem. So I really like that. And this also goes along with pretty much what the dress originally was like. So I kind of like this option. I'm going to show you the other one, but let me get a little closer and show you this closer up. I just wanted you to see the full thing, how it would pair with the shorter skirt. So this is what it looks like this. Okay, so here's a closer view of these details at the shoulders. So I've just pinned it roughly in the back, but this is, you know, how I have it in the front. It makes this little blousey ruffle, a little bubbly ruffle, and you can fully see, ow, I just stabbed myself. You can fully see the beaded panel and it's on the shoulder where it originally was. So I kind of like this look. It does leave the front a little bit plain, but I think it's a fun look. So I'm going to now unpin this and pin it the other way I was thinking, and we'll see what we think. We'll decide which one I'm going to do. Okay, this is option 2. I am starting close this time because the camera's already here. But so the idea here is I've taken both those shoulder drapes and then put the beaded panel down the middle and then use the drapes to form this sort of shearing effect. Now, the fit is awkward right now because it's just pinned, but the idea is that I would fit this to me and try to join the two pieces a little better so it makes a little more of just one panel instead of two separate pieces. But I think this is kind of fun too. Okay, here's the full view of this option with the skirt and everything. So yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? This way's fun too. So is the way with the sleeves. I don't really know. I think I'm just going to look at the footage and decide. But yeah, one of these two options I think is going to be good. I think both would be a nice, you know, update to the dress, keeping within the spirit of the dress, but making it more wearable. Yeah. Okay, I have an option 3. I'm sorry. I wasn't loving 1 or 2. 2 I thought was really fun with putting them across the front and making it shearing. But the reason I have ruled that out is because I don't think it's going to work with my body type. I actually like the way that this one blouses over a little bit because it conceals any kind of lumps and bumps going on here. And if I had that, I would have to pull it real tight and it would be fitted. And I'd worry if I slouched that I'd get like rolls and it just wouldn't look right on me. I think that's a cute style. Maybe I could try it with something else at another point, but I don't think it's going to be right for me. And I do like the way this dress fits, the way it has a little bit of slight blousing over with the belt and then goes into the skirt. I like the fit, which is rare for me. It's rare for me to find a dress that fits my torso like this. So I'm going to go with it. But I have to say, this is actually originally what I had planned to do with this dress. Let me get my hair out of the way. I was thinking to remove those drapey bits, put the beaded panels back on as epaulettes, and then do some sort of ruffle down the sleeve. Right now, I've just made a really quick ruffle out of a piece of the skirt that I cut off, and I've just pinned it on. I think this is kind of fun. This is what I was originally thinking. And I also might play with the idea of making it like a bubble ruffle, similar to the skirt. That could be fun too. Okay, I thought I'd just take you guys over to the table so we can do this together, work on it together. I have unpicked one of the panels and I'm going to give you a close-up because I don't think you ever really got a good close view. There, how about that? So it's really pretty, kind of geometric the way it's laid out. It's got bugle beads and some sort of clear iridescent sequins. It's just a really pretty design, similar to what is on the sleeve cuffs. Here we go. And then the belt is a similar design. So really pretty. So yeah, I'm just going to pick off the next one. I picked off that one. I've lost it on my table. Too much mint green, so much Shamrock-Shake-green. So, okay, so I'm going to do the same things that I did here. I'm just going to separate the fabric from the beaded bit so that I can sew it onto my dress. Okay, so now that I have the beaded panels ready to sew back onto the shoulders, I want to do 2 finished versions of the ruffle so I can compare the 2 styles. I'm checking to make sure I have enough fabric, then cutting the strips. On one, I will do a narrow rolled hem on both edges, and on the other, I'll fold it over onto itself and stitch one long gathering stitch down the middle so the edges will form a bubble. Let's see how they turned out. Okay, here are the 2 options for the sleeve ruffles. There's this one that's more like the bubble sleeve. And then there's this one that I did the rolled hem on. So this one is a little wider, but this one is about the same width as the band of beading. I think that I like this side, both because of the width of it and because I think I like this finish more than I like the rolled hem finish. It's just very clean and I love how it mimics the bubble hem. So I'm going to do this. So, all right, I am going to sew the other ruffle. I'm going to sew on these 2 pieces and I'm going to sew the ruffles on, and then I think this dress will be done. I don't think you'll see me again tonight because I'm going to lose my light, and I will probably do this tonight while watching some kind of TV. So hopefully next you see me, this dress will be done and I'll be wearing it. So here's the final dress. I'm really happy with how it came out. You know, it was actually in the end not a drastic change. Really, all I did was take up the skirt in a bubble type hem, and then I used the extra fabric to make these ruffles for the sleeves. The beaded detail on the shoulders, I took it off and then put it back. Oh, and I almost forgot to show you the back. Yes, I made a little bow. I turned those things that were the drapes into a fun little bow. So this dress isn't far from its original state, but it is now something that I'm far more likely to wear. You know, before it was a little bit dated, and while it was a nice dress, it just wasn't something that I would wear. It was something, you know, for maybe someone with a different style. But I'm happy to have this one now. It's going to be fun to wear for spring. You know, it's a dressy dress. I'm going to have to go out to dinner now or something like that. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this little transformation of this 80s dress. I have to say, this is the first video I've filmed since I gained a lot of new subscribers from my bird jeans video, which I'm so glad you guys liked that one. I really appreciate all your support. Like, I read all your comments, and I can't express how thankful I am that you guys are enjoying what I'm doing, that you're saying all the nice things you are. I kind of pushed this video ahead of my next video so that I could, just thank you guys and say, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate your support for my channel, for what I'm trying to do. I took a big leap. I'm not the conventional fashion YouTuber. I'm not the youngest. I'm not the thinnest. So it's nice that you guys appreciate me and you guys appreciate for what it is, a real person trying to make real clothes. So yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for watching this video. You'll notice this video is a little bit different than my others in that I focused on one quicker project, just getting the one in and out. So, let me know what you think about that, whether you prefer the longer involved videos or if you're happy to see a little short one like this. My next video will be a little longer. I'm doing 4 sweaters in that one. The one after that will be a little longer. I'm doing 4 skirts. So yeah, the content will change a little bit, but I'm curious what you think of seeing a shorter video that's going to focus on one quick project. So thank you again for all your support. I really appreciate you watching this video, especially watching till the end. That really helps me. If you could find a way to engage in this video, which you guys are champs at leaving comments, I really appreciate all of the comments you've been leaving. Leave me a comment, leave me a like, subscribe to my channel if you're not already. I will see you again if I ever get around to making another video, even though I already have 2 more. If I get around to making some more after that, I will see you again. Thank you so much. Bye.